different spot. So, I had an idea, a little small idea, to try and make the dress from I think it was from the first Back to the Future movie. I decided I wanted to make that version. It's the pink strapless dress that Lorraine wears. I'm not sure if it's like a homecoming or something that they're dancing for, but it's a party. And the first time I saw it, I thought that it was a beautiful dress. I'm like, this is positively great. I certainly would love to make it. Just the first time I ever saw it, I did not have the capabilities that I do now to actually produce such a good or decent wearable garment. But now that I am capable of something, I decided I wanted to do it. The only thing is I decided I wanted to do it right when I was like a little bit before finishing my 1950s coat. So I was unable to actually put full focus into it until after I actually finished the coat. So I had to go and get some supplies from Hobby Lobby. I'm heading off to go to Hobby Lobby to go get some fabric. I'm excited to see what we can get. I'm hoping I can find some nice fabric for the dress, and then also I need to get the lining fabric for my coat, so I guess it's kind of a win-win situation here because I need to get at least one or the other. So let's go. I got a plethora of fabric that will work. So the first fabric I got, these are all cottons except for, of course, the tulle that I got. So this is a cotton fabric. It's a nice pink. There was only like about a yard left. I got about 4 yards of this cotton. It's just a white cotton that's going to be the lining. Fabric right here is the pink I picked out. It's also a cotton. It's a very nice soft pink, and I love it. I got about 4 yards of it. I'm really liking the pink color, and I'm hoping it works. I did not bring my phone with me for some stupid reason. I don't know why. So I was not able to look at pictures of the said dress looking at it, but I got about 3 yards. This 3 yards does not look like a lot, but it might be because the tulle is incredibly thin. But I got about 3 yards of this tulle that's going to be the additional layering for the skirt, so it's nice and full. And then I'm going to be wearing a petticoat underneath, but, you know, I need to make that. And so we'll see. And then after I got all of my supplies, I needed to actually come up with a completely new pattern because I did not have an actual already made pattern or idea of what I was going to do. So I just decided to try basically mock-upping it up on myself, but not really mock-upping it, just kind of making the pattern and just going with it. I decided to use the white cotton lining fabric to do that, since I could, if I did mess up on it, it would be easier to get that than it would be to get the additional pink fabric. So I did that. I just basically did it on myself. I pinned it, cut off pieces of fabric that I didn't want, pinned on pieces of fabric that I did want. Okay. And then I sewed that all together. And then after I finished sewing the entire pieces of the front bodice, then I ended up having to seam rip all of it because I needed the actual pattern to use. the only thing about this is I could not do it on my dress form. I can only do certain pieces on my dress form, but I couldn't actually fully do it because my dress form is not actually made for me. It was just an already pre-made dress form that I got. So I was unable to actually be able to just drape it on the form, so I ended up draping it on myself and then seeing how it looked on the form to do the things that I could not do on myself, like the back pieces. And then I would just sew it. So it's actually not too hard. I actually used videos as reference from Miranda Milner. She had a very good video when she made her, I think it was the 1930s or 50s, maybe it was the 1950s ball gown. It's not the same since it didn't end up having darts. I had side panels, though I did have to cut darts into it because it was puckering too much on the sides. But it's slightly different, but it used a relatively similar thing. So I'll link 2 of those videos of her talking about how to use bodice patterns and how to drape it on yourself, since those were supremely helpful, and I didn't actually go into a lot of detail on how I did it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend using those videos because those were very helpful. On making my dress. After I finished doing all of the mock-upping, but it really ended up being the actual pattern, after I finished all of that, I seam ripped it and I cut it out of the pink fabric. And I also, while doing that, I went ahead and cut out the top piece. That's the little, like, angled, darker pink pieces. I cut that out, but I was unable to actually put it on until much later into actually putting it on, like, until much later into actually making the dress. Since, you know, I had to wait for the polka dot fabric to come, had to wait to finish the skirt, all these other additional things. I had to wait to finish those things first before I could actually put on the darker fabric. So far, the progress on the Lorraine dress is actually going very well. I just finished the, like, brief pinning of this. It has not been sewn on yet. The entire front, side, and back pieces have all been sewn on. They have not been zipped up yet, though. I have not attached the zipper. And the reason I can't put this piece on yet is because I do not have my sheer polka dotted, or, like, to some degree polka dotted overlay to put on the bodice piece before the darker pink piece. If you see in the picture of Lorraine's dress, you can see that it has, in some pictures it looks different, but to some degree it looks like a polka dotted overlay. And I don't have that. I looked in Hobby Lobby, could not find any anywhere. I was trying to experiment to see if maybe I could overlay this with some, like, white overlay or something, or with this very, very sheer pink, where it does kind of work, but it's so faint that I'm like, I might as well get a white, very, very, very sheer overlay, because if I do what I was trying to do with the base pink cotton and then putting the sheer overlay, that's just going to be a bunch of layers, and that's not what I wanted to go for. So I'm going to go see if I can get some from an online fabric store, maybe Amazon, and until then I'm going to be working on the skirt, and probably, I don't think I can do the zipper pieces yet still. I don't know. We'll see. After I finished doing all of the cutting out for the main fabric for the bodice, I sewed all of it together, I ironed all of it, and then I cut out the circle skirt piece, which took a lot longer because once sewing all of it together takes forever. Circle skirts are great, but they are very big because they're an entire circle, and that means that hemming it is also an absolute pain in the butt, but we will talk about that later because that takes much longer to do than honestly everything else, if I'm being honest. Cut that out. I actually had to piece on a tiny piece of the pink fabric, which it's actually not really noticeable at all. I actually forgot that I had to do it until looking back at the footage. I had to end up doing that because I did not have enough width at my fabric bolt, which is actually pretty dang, like, that's pretty vintagey and historical to piece on pieces. I only had to do it once for the skirt, thankfully. I had gotten enough fabric, I think it was 4 yards I had. So that's nice, but I did have to piece on a little piece. It doesn't take forever, but it does mean you have to sew it, and then you have to iron it, and then you have to make sure that your lining covers it. And then after I did that, after I finished sewing everything and ironing everything, I needed to sew it together. So I went ahead and did that. I sewed the bodice onto the skirt, and at that point I could actually see how it looked on myself, because beforehand I could only do it in like small increments. I was able to see how that looked, and it looked good. It was fitting pretty well. And so I could go ahead and sew the skirt together. Like, I could go ahead and sew the circle back together, but I could not actually sew the bodice closed until way later because I had to wait until my polka dot fabric came, which that actually took forever. Actually, I'm starting to realize with all of my projects so far, I always have to wait for something else. Like with the 1950s coat inspired project, I had to wait forever to actually get my black wool to actually even start the project. Can do some other things. I can go ahead and put the tulle on the inside, and I can make maybe possibly a petticoat. See, I need a petticoat for my fabric. I just need one in general for my circle skirts, but I would like to have one for this dress as well. I'm not really sure how to make a petticoat, if I'm being honest. I don't think it would be much harder than making a basic circle skirt, and then you just add additional floof. But we'll see. I just wanted to go and kind of give an update on that. This tends to be something that always happens in my projects, that I finish most of what I need to get done. I finish most of the things I need to finish for like my projects. That could be, you know, like with the coat project, and now with this. I always get basically there, and then I have to wait so long to get the other thing. But we finally have the overlay, so let's look at it. Alright, it's here. I might link it depending on if it was. It's nice. This is the stuff. I actually have a lot of it. It looks like they gave me more than 3 yards, but I think it is 3 yards. This is the lace. This is actually exactly what I wanted, which is crazy. It is actually like a little bit 3D, and that's what I wanted, because when you see the fabric in... Oh, and it's a little stretchy too, that's not bad. When you see it in the pictures, it looks like it's a little 3D. It doesn't always look like polka dots in every picture, but this is actually perfect. So this is what I wanted. That's great. So that's what I will use. And yeah, it's from this brand. I'm not sure if I can or not, but I'll link it in the description, not because they're sponsored, ain't nobody gonna sponsor me, but because this is a very nice brand, and it came, I mean, everything takes forever to get shipped to me, so I don't think it's really their fault. I think it's just the mailing service that we have is just really bad at doing their job. But when it finally did arrive, I was able to take that and cut out the bodice pieces out of that fabric, which the only thing about doing this out of like a organza, I'm actually not sure what it was. I don't think it was a tulle because it was stretchy and stuff, but I think it was an organza. It's a really nice fabric. The only thing is that it's very slippery. It always tries to move out of the way. So when you cut it, the line's never actually straight. It's always a little bit like janky, which it doesn't matter since it's just an overlay and it's gonna be so many other pieces, but it's noticeable when you're cutting it out. after I finished the entire bodice and skirt, I went ahead and put the zipper on, which I'd actually never put a zipper on before, so for being a thing I had never actually done before, it wasn't too bad. I think I could do a little better, but it wasn't bad, and the zipper works well. I think it classifies somewhat decent as an invisible zipper. It was my first time, so I'm probably going to be a lot better at it later on, but not too bad. And then finally I could actually try it on after I put the little top piece, the darker pink top piece on. I put little hooks and eyes over the top so that they could clasp together, since without it, it would just kind of fold open, and that's not what I wanted. So I cut out the bodice pieces out of the polka dotted fabric, and then I cut out the fabric, cut out the circle skirt piece out of the polka dotted fabric as well. I think I was given a little more than 3 yards because it looked a little bit more, but they gave me little separate packages, which were actually nice. The way I did that was the same way that I made my original circle skirts, all my other ones. I just folded it a couple times. This is also from Miranda Milner, so I'll show you that video as well. A lot of these are from her videos. She has very good tips on how to make these things. I didn't have enough time. I think I'd already been working on this for almost 2 months, like about a month and a half. I started late in November and I finished it late December. All throughout the Christmassy season was when I was doing this. When I finally finished that, I sewed the tools part of the skirt, or the organza part of the skirt, to the overlay of the top bodice piece. Sewed that together, and when that was done, and then I could actually try it on, and it fit really well. Surprisingly well. I'm very happy with it. You can't see anything. So far, this is how it looks. Not too shabby. I'm actually pretty dang satisfied with how it's gone. It's supremely comfortable. I'm just figuring out extra additional things. I really love the skirt. You can't see it, so let me show you. Supremely swooshy because it's a circle skirt. Great for dancing in. The only problem is I can't zip it all the way up without help. So, well, yeah. And the last thing I had to do was hem it. So after I finished hemming this incredibly long circle skirt, or dress, but the base of it was a circle skirt, I just hung it up for about a day so it could fully kind of stretch out in its form. Even though the fabric's not really stretchy, it just kind of helps. And then I hemmed it together. And after all of that, after about a month and a half of work, here's the reveal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was actually pretty enjoyable for me to make, even though it did take a long time to complete. It was centered around other projects and other little smaller things I was working on. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time. It's like kind of like a polka dot, oh my gosh. overlay, you know? So
100% take Norrington over Will, though. Norringtons are better. I will argue that. That is a hill I will die. I think anybody actually agrees, though. Everyone agrees that Norringtons are better, right?
more thing because, okay, listen. When I first got the fabric, all from Hobby Lobby, I got what is this? Buy everything. Oh my